The band was mid-song when she said it. Soft, casual, like it didn't matter. This is just a friend. Just. The word landed wrong. Too light for the weight it carried. I felt it before I understood it, the sudden stillness inside me, like an elevator stopping between floors. Her hand slipped from my arm, a clean break. No hesitation, practice. I smiled because that's what you do when something breaks quietly. And this, I heard myself say, voice steady, is my ex. The music kept playing, someone laughed, nervously, then silence spread anyway, not loud, surgical. I didn't look at her, I looked at her mother. Her face collapsed in slow motion, confusion first, then recognition, then something like grief, as if she'd just realized she'd been lied to for a long time and that I wasn't the liar. That look stayed with me, more than the whispering, more than the way my name suddenly didn't belong anywhere, more than her sharp inhale beside me, too late to mean anything. I stood there, champagne warm in my hand, watching a room recalibrate around a truth I hadn't known I was about to tell. And in that moment, I understood something with terrifying clarity. I wasn't being loved. I was being hidden. It explained everything once the word settled in. Hidden. Why I never met her coworkers, why photos were always just for us, why her phone slept face down like a secret. I replayed months in my head, slow and methodical, like rewinding security footage. She loved me in private, needed me in silence, edited me out of the world that mattered. At the wedding, I watched her move differently, lighter, unburdened. She laughed too easily with people who didn't know me, people she'd never warned about my existence. There was another man there. I noticed him because she noticed him. The way her posture shifted, the way she checked herself before speaking to him, like she was stepping into a role she'd rehearsed. I told myself not to spiral, that there were explanations. Families are complicated. Timing is messy. Love isn't always public. Denial is a discipline thing. It keeps you functional. But then I saw him lean in. Not intimate, not inappropriate, familiar. Her mother watched them too, the same tightness around her eyes, the same calculation I felt tightening my chest. I didn't confront her, didn't ask questions, didn't need to. Something had already confessed. I became observant, not suspicious, precise. I listened more than I spoke, counted patterns, noted absences. Her stories developed scenes, small inconsistencies that didn't matter until they did. A weekend described twice, differently. A name that slipped out and was quickly replaced. A laugh at a message she wouldn't show me. I checked nothing impulsively. That's how you get caught lying to yourself. Instead, I waited. I noticed she took calls in the bathroom now, that she said I love you like punctuation, automatic, unconsidered. That when I spoke about the future, she responded with logistics, not emotion. I found him without trying, a tagged photo, public, innocent, old enough to feel established. They had history, not the kind you forget, the kind you pause before acknowledging. I didn't scroll far. I didn't need the whole story, just confirmation that one existed without me. I tested her with small truths. I ran into someone who knew you, I said once. Her reaction was immediate, defensive before curious. Who? Not what did they say, not about when. Who? I filed that away. Still no confrontation. That would have been premature. I wanted certainty, not closure. Certainty arrived quietly. A mutual friend, hers technically, slipped. Not maliciously, carelessly, the way people do when they assume you already know. You're great for her, she said, after everything with him. I waited. With who? The pause told me more than the answer. She named him, the man from the wedding, the ex who wasn't an ex. I didn't react, didn't correct her, just nodded like I was catching up to a plot twist everyone else had already seen. Later, I asked her one question. Why didn't you tell them about me? She stared too long, calculating. It wasn't the right time. That was the moment, not the lie, the ease of it. I handed her my phone, the photo open, her tagged, his arm familiar around her waist. She didn't cry, she just sat down. I stayed standing. I didn't raise my voice, I didn't accuse. I thanked her for clarifying, I said. She tried to explain, to reframe, to manage the damage. Words spilled out fast, overlapping, desperate to regain narrative control. I let her talk. Then I told her about the wedding, about her mother's face, about the moment I introduced her as my ex. She looked at me like she was seeing a stranger. Maybe she was. I knew before I asked, I said. I just wanted to see if you'd choose honesty. She didn't answer. There was nothing left to say anyway. I stood, picked up my coat, smoothed it like nothing significant had happened. At the door, I turned once. "You didn't lose me," I said. "You never had me." I don't think about her often now. When I do, it's not with anger or longing. It's with clarity. I understand the role I played, the convenience, the cover story, the silence she needed to maintain a version of herself that didn't include me. That knowledge didn't break me. It reorganized me. I learned what absence feels like before love disappears. I learned the sound of a truth arriving without warning. I learned that being hidden hurts more than being left. And I learned something else. Control doesn't come from confrontation. It comes from walking away without needing permission. The room went quiet that day, but I didn't. I left.